Hey, what's up, everyone? This is MugenLord here, and I know it's been a while since we had a discussion video. I just think it would be perfect for us to talk about what's going on in the gaming industry right now. And we already know right now that gaming has been going down an endless spiral for the past couple of years. We've been seeing it in the cultural aspect of gaming in general, and also when it comes to, I guess you would say, the quality of gaming and how gaming and the development process has become with these inflated budgets, and also dealing with microtransactions, countless live services, and also gaming just isn't getting any cheaper, and especially when these games are feeling more and more incomplete by the time these games are launched, and then we have to get hit with these patches over time, or they try to mask them as DLC, pretending that they're giving you some great value for these games. But as I said before, as each generation goes by, during these generations, the prices of gaming just keep getting higher and higher, and it's getting to the point where gaming isn't feeling any more like a hobby. It's feeling more of a luxury as time go by, and that's very concerning, especially for a lot of gamers, especially as we're dealing with the current economy and the cost of living is constantly being affected, and gamers are starting to have to make a choice whether or not, hey, I need bills, I have to pay these bills, or I need to put my money into other areas than to actually play games. I know very few, or I know a lot of people at this point are only able to afford 2 games out of the year because of how expensive these games are becoming. So people are becoming more and more conservative of how they spend their money when it comes to this hobby, which is gaming. But as I said before, the $80 game is looking more and more of a reality, especially now that Nintendo had announced the Nintendo Switch 2 and Mario Kart World, which caught everybody off guard. No one was expecting that Nintendo was going to announce their $80 game. We talked about it here on this channel for the past couple of months, and we talked about how the industry was anticipating a price hike in gaming, especially the studios were hoping that Rockstar themselves with Grand Theft Auto 6, GTA 6, they were hoping that they would be the one that would lead the charge when it comes to the prices of gaming, that the prices of gaming was going to be dictated by whatever Rockstar would dictate, and we were completely wrong. And what's more alarming is now that we have developers who are coming out and pretty much giving their opinion and essentially segregating gamers based on if they are real fans of a particular game or not, based on how much they are willing to spend on that game. And this is why I want to have this discussion, because we have the CEO, Randy Pitchford, of Gearbox Studios, have pretty much had something to say in regards of what a real gamer is, or what a real fan is, based on the prices of these games. So before we even dive into this video and get into the nitty gritty of this topic, make sure you hit that subscribe button, the notification bell for more gaming content here on this channel. So we're going to really dive into it. So it was pretty much an article that was pretty much an opinion piece that was discussed by Kotaku themselves, where they had pretty much reported with a discussion between Randy Pitchford and a fan of Gearbox Studio, who pretty much laid out their concerns and was pretty much asking Randy Pitchford, please, I mean, you're the CEO of this company, can you please not raise the price of games, or your games in particular, Borderlands 4, which is coming out pretty soon, to $80. And this is what Randy Pitchford had to say, and I'm going to paraphrase this. So A, he said it was not his call. B, he compares the pricing of games back in the 90s where a game cost $80. Then he goes on to say that his minimum wage job made it possible to buy it. And then C, he states that if you are a real fan, you will find a possible way to play it. And this is where the disconnect comes into place, because this type of response was pretty much tone deaf to a lot of gamers who had read it, and people are now sharing it around. I'm sharing the post, and you have to understand that when it came to the 90s compared to today, the cost of living was much different, the economy was much different, and the value of these games were much different compared to what we are seeing today. And then the article goes on to say that, hey, if you look at where Randy Pitchford comes from and his father, who's part of the government and everything like that, it made it much easier for him to be able to go out and to be able to afford these things. So there's a whole topic and a layer of discussion when it comes to the political aspect, when it comes to the class, and who can afford what, it's just a big discussion that's surrounding this. And after seeing this discussion, I wanted to come to you guys and really get down to the nitty gritty of what we think when it comes to the pricing of gaming. And this is what I wanted to talk about. So now we need to have this real discussion as far as the pricing of gaming. And it looks like with the response that Randy Pitchford had made, it pretty much created a segregation among gamers. It separates gamers in this category of who can afford what, who's considered a real gamer or a real fan of a particular title based on how much money they are spending. And we've already seen this discussion. It's happening over Twitter right now, where people talk about, hey, if you're broke, just say that you broke. And you have other people that gives their reasoning to why they won't even put down the money. They're saying that, hey, yeah, I can afford this game, but I'm not going to sit there and spend this amount on a game where it's not worth it in terms of value. And I think the real discussion that needs to be had here is, what is the value of a game? Who or what determines the value of a game in general? By what metrics do we, I guess you would say, judge these games in terms of their value and how much these should cost? And many people have their own reasoning to why cost the way that they cost. And I think when it comes to gaming in general, we have our own metrics. I think there's no one fixed metric based on games in itself. Because you have some people who are willing to pay $100. We talked about this before. I posted it up, showing a Twitter post that there are people out there who are willing to pay $100 for GTA 6. And it's all in their right. When it comes to gaming, and even though that I say gaming is essentially becoming a luxury, at the end of the day, it's still a hobby. And when it comes to hobbies, you know, what money, and when money's involved in this hobby, is how much you're willing to spend when it comes to these hobbies. We see fans who spend money on trading card games. We see fans who spend money on tabletop games like D&D, you know, Warhammer 40K. And there's so many different hobbies that's out there that people would spend hundreds to thousands of dollars. And for that individual person, you know, they believe that it's worth it and they would spend that money. So I think that now we're going to enter a part or an era of gaming to where we're going to just have various prices of video games scattered all over the place, where we no longer going to have that uniform prices of gaming in general. And as I said before, people were willing to spend, or saying that they were willing to spend that $100. But then you look at examples like Doom the Dark Ages. Even though despite the reviews that it has, people are loving the game right now, who have bought the game. Right now, the game is not performing as well as many people were hoping. It's not saying it's a bad game, but you can see some of the opinions that people have. Some people saying that, hey, I'm not spending $70 on this game. Especially when you have an option like Expedition 33, which they're selling their games for $50. And you know, remember, you have the narrative where studios are telling us that, hey, you know, because of the cost of development and, you know, of gaming and where it's at now, our games have to cost, you know, X amount of dollars. But then you have studios that created and developed games like Expedition 33, and they selling it to you for $50. Then what is it? Then how come they're selling their games for $50 and you're selling your games for $60 and above? And that brings the discussion now back to what we're saying. What determines the value of a game? We already had fans once they came out and spoke about their concerns for the pricing of Mario Kart World. You had the president of Nintendo America, Doug Bowser, come out and say essentially that, hey, you don't have to wait and see when you see the direct so you can see why we priced this game at $80. You will see the value once you see it. And guess what? Once the Nintendo Direct came for the Mario Kart Direct, Mario Kart fans weren't happy. They didn't see where the value was when it comes to this. Why is it worth $80? And you have many fans saying that, hey, this is no different than any other Mario Kart game. It's just open world. So why is it $80? So there's a disconnect between the gamers and the developers themselves, because the developers are trying to make money. But the developers will look at the game and say, hey, no, it's worth this price. But the gamers who are actually spending the money, actually playing the game, is essentially saying that, no, this is not worth this. Now, me, I'm a casual Mario Kart player. I own most of the Mario Kart games, but I play them on a very casual level. So to me, I pre-ordered the game and I spent the $80 because to me, I mean, The content is there for me because I don't play them like that. But the hardcore Mario Kart fans who play it dedicatedly, like on a religious basis, a level like that, they don't see that as worth it. So you see what I understand. You see what I'm getting at here. Every gamer has a price tag on what they're willing to spend on a game based on what they think is worth the price. So you're going to have gamers who will say, hey, I'm not spending this $80 or $100, but I'm willing to spend $50 or maybe even go to $60 on a particular game. Then you have other gamers who say, hey, you know what? I got a backlog of games that I have yet to play and open and still in the plastic that I would rather take my time and spend my time and invest in this until these games that are expensive would go down in price, and then I would rather invest on that. Or you'd be like other people within the community and say, hey, I'm about to hit the hit the high seas and go out and, you know, pirate the games and stuff like that. So you have different categories of gamers, and I think with these prices that's going to be scattered all over the place, it's going to segregate, or it's going to scatter gamers even more based on what gamers are willing to put down their money. And what makes it even more profound is that the fact is that now, it may sound crazy, but when it comes to the Game Pass, Xbox Game Pass is looking more and more like a deal. I think that's another thing that happened with Doom the Dark Ages as well, where a lot of people just went straight for the Game Pass. I'm not spending $70. I'd rather just go on the Game Pass and just play the game. So a lot of people who rags on Game Pass and everything like that, Game Pass is going to look more and more like a deal. And I think other subscription services for games, as long as they're going to keep having these wide range of scattered prices or having these increases in prices, more people is going to be herded over to subscription service. And who knows, this may be a conspiracy theory, but maybe this may be the plan to get a lot of players to get on board with subscription service games where you don't own your games. You would rather go out and get a subscription service because prices are too high, and go over to the subscription service so you can have a whole wide range of different games that you can be able to play, rather than buy these games individually and also have these games physically in your library. And that may also be the plan. It may sound crazy, but here's the thing. If Game Pass and live or subscription service for games start to become more of a viability, and everybody becomes herded and used to and conditioned to go over there, there's nothing to stop Microsoft, and there's nothing to stop these studios now for price hiking these subscription service. Now you have no more options because everybody abandoned physical gaming. A lot of people didn't want to spend the money on the prices that they have for these games, and everybody went over to digital gaming and the subscription services, and now that's the only available option. And now they got you in this cage. They got gamers in this net that they casted out there. We fell for the bait. Now it's time to hike the prices up, and now you have no other alternatives. So as gamers at this point, what do we do? And as I said here on this channel as well, I always tell you guys that, hey, I'm not here to tell you how to spend your money. At the end of the day, despite gaming becoming a luxury, it's still a hobby. And when you work hard for your money and you want to spend the money however you want, do what the hell you want. I'm not here to tell you to boycott. I'm not, because they never work. And I'm not here to tell you what you should do with your money. I'm here to just give you my opinion and also put the information out there so you can have an educated decision process on how you want to approach purchasing your game. I think in this situation now that we're standing in, I think more gamers who are deep into this stuff, especially with social media and keep track of everything that's going on within the industry, we're going to become more, I guess you say, conservative, or we're going to become more thoughtful about how we go out and spend our money on these games and try to look for the best deals. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens, but I definitely want to hear your thoughts in the comment sections below. What is your price range? When is enough for you when it comes to spending money on games? Is it $80? Is it $90? Is it $100? Or is it a little bit well above $100? I definitely want to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you think we are entering the era of gaming where we're going to just have various price ranges, you know, from $40 to $100 when it comes to an individual game? And do you think this is going to push more gamers to go into the live subscription service type of game platforms like Xbox Game Pass and PlayStation Plus and many other platforms that's out there, because they don't want to spend that money when it comes to these increases in prices. So definitely your thoughts in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, that subscribe button for more gaming content here on this channel. And also, before I go, if you guys don't know, I have a comic book company called Venus Orion Comics. I have my shirt right here. I have a website. I released my first comic book called Variant Killers, Vampire Killers. Definitely go check it out if it's something that you're interested in. You can check out the YouTube channel. You can also check out the website, www.venusorioncomics.com, and see the content that I have up there. You can go to my store. You can purchase my comic, whether you want to get it physically or digitally. If you want to give a taste of what Venus Orion Comics has to offer, you can go ahead and get Variant Killers, Vampire Killers for only $5 digital. So definitely go check it out. This is MugenLord signing off. I'll see you game fiends later. Peace out.